Steve Arnott,
Here.
Mike Scipio,
Here.
Doug Fleshman,
Here.
Jim Hudson, Ray Hudson,
I'm here.
Greg Wolf,
Here.
Connie Thompson, Jim Hughes,
Here.
Linda Boggs. I'm here.
The quorum being present, I declare the September 16, 2019 meeting of the Dunbar City Council in order. Okay. First, I'll have on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the September 3rd, 2019 council meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the September 3rd, 2019 council meeting as written. Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Fleshman to approve the September 3rd, 2019 council meeting minutes as presented, seconded by Councilman Scipio. Any clarifications, comments, or questions? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions? None. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is my recommendation for the reappointment of Steve Campbell, professional engineer, to the sanitary board for a 3-year term. He's a retired bridge engineer from the highway department, has been serving on the sanitary board as a professional engineer for several years, and is really an asset to the sanitary board. I am requesting approval for his reappointment. I'll move. There's been a motion by Councilman Arnott to approve the reappointment of Steve Campbell, professional engineer, to the sanitary board for a 3-year term. It was seconded by Councilman Scipio. Any questions, comments, concerns? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is invoices for payment.
Mr. Chairman, for this period, our invoices total $213,309.03, and I so move we pay these.
Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Hudson to approve payment of invoices totaling $213,309.03, seconded by Councilman Fleshman. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Just to note to the citizens, if you come to finance, you'll see these are, we don't just throw them out there and approve. They're always reviewed by the finance committee and any other council member as well during that time. So these have been reviewed for accuracy.
Any further comments? As stated on the agenda, they are available for public viewing if you so choose at the clerk's office. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is second reading of ordinance 783.
This ordinance is to adopt and approve the curb replacement pages of the qualified ordinance.
I have a motion to approve this. Second reading.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve the second reading of ordinance 783 to approve and adopt the current replacement pages of the codified ordinances of the city of Dunbar, seconded by Councilman Arnott. Any further questions, comments? No, be a roll call vote. Okay, caught me in time this time.
Linda Boggs,
Yes.
Jim Hughes,
Yes.
Connie Thompson,
Yes.
Greg Wolf,
Yes.
Greg Hudson,
Yes.
Doug Fleshman,
Yes.
Mike Scipio,
Yes.
Steve Arnott.
Yes. The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the second reading of ordinance 784.
Ordinance 784 is to adopt in chapter part 5 in subpart 547, the cost, fees, and fine, subparagraph 547.01 of the codified ordinance. This ordinance is to raise the court fee from 80 to 90 to match the state code.
Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve the second reading of ordinance 784, revising section 54701 of the codified ordinances of the city of Dunbar to increase court costs from $80 to $90 to comply with the revised state code. Seconded by Councilman Hudson. Any further clarifications or comments? If I can add something. This ordinance will not go into effect until 45 days if we have a passage on a roll call vote. So it'll be a 45-day hold period in case there's protest of the ordinance filed in the circuit court. So with that, we'll have a roll call vote.
Steve Arnott,
Yes.
Mike Scipio,
Yes.
Doug Fleshman,
Yes.
Greg Hudson,
Yes.
Greg Wolf,
Yes.
Connie Thompson,
Yes.
Jim Hughes,
Yes.
Linda Boggan.
Yes.
The motion carries, and regardless of whether we pass the ordinance or not, we have to pay the state the $90 court costs. So it's imperative that we get this implemented so that we can recoup the costs and not lose money in the court system. Next item is item number 9, new business. And it's, first item is approval of payment of one beacon.
I make a motion, we approve payment to one beacon in the amount of $22,434.25 for the deductible of the 4 active officers.
I'll second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve payment to one beacon in the amount of $22,434.25 for the deductible on 4 active lawsuits, seconded by Councilwoman August. Any further comments?
Mr. Chairman, if I could note for the citizens, that amount, 22,000 and the change, that's actually included already in the 213,000. So it's not 213,000 invoices plus this, but since it is a large individual invoice, we approve it separately. So that amount's there, but we're just approving it separately since it is a large invoice.
To further clarify what Councilman Hudson is saying, was discussed in the finance meeting. We have appropriated money in this year's budget with anticipation of meeting the deductible limits of $25,000 per litigation. So one of the cases has reached the deductible amount, so the insurance company will be paying 100% anything beyond that, and the other 3 are substantially lower than that right now. So, but we have budgeted money to cover these expenses. I'm going to have to convert it from other fund items to the budget. Any further comment? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item is approval for repair to the recycling truck.
Mr. Mayor, make the motion, we approve the repair of the transmission in our recycling truck at a cost not to exceed $6,026.30. This is a very valuable asset to the public works department. And it's a low mileage vehicle, so it does repairs because they need it back on the road. Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Fleshman to approve the repair of the transmission on the recycle truck at a cost not to exceed $6,026.30. Seconded by Councilman Hughes. Any further comment?
Mayor, Mike, let people know that the estimate is just one estimate that Scott's got. He's also seeking for one more estimate. So he could give us.
Any further comments? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval for repair and replacement of lights.
With a motion, we approve the repair and replacement of lights in 12th Street Plaza and Longbow High Avenue in the amount of $3,410.86. Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve the repair and replacement of lights in the 12th Street Plaza along Ohio Avenue at a cost of $3,410.20. Seconded by Councilman Wolf.
I skip it.
Oh, was Scipio?
Skip your way motion. No, we'll say.
I'm sorry. It's going too fast. It's a reverse reading. So that's Councilman Scipio made the motion, seconded by Councilman Wolf. Any further clarifications or comments? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of the renewal of the landfill contract.
Make a motion to approve the renewal of the annual contract with public service for landfill fees. That's the same rate as we have this year. Second.
I'll try to get it right this time. There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve the renewal of the annual contract with Republic Services Inc. for landfill fees. There will not be an increase in the tipping fees for this contract cycle. Seconded by Councilman Wolf. Any further questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, if I can speak to it on in finance, we talked about this. We're fortunate that we have another year without an increase. It's $39 a ton for taxes and everything. But we have to keep in mind that while this is not increased, labor costs have increased because we've tried to give small raises to the men that work the trucks, and our expense on the trucks are increasing and all those costs go up. So we try and remind you, if you would please, when we send out the bill for the garbage municipal fee, there's a reason we try to collect it, because every time we do not collect it, we're still paying $39 a ton. We're still paying the guy on the truck. We're still putting diesel in the truck. So if you hear us talking about pushing, and if you get upset when you hear your neighbor, not you, of course, but your neighbor gets a letter from a collection agency, it's because we have to pay all these fees, whether you as a citizen pay it or not. And so we're thankful that we have another year reprieve on tipping fees, but there's a lot of cost involved in this.
Any further comments? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval to declare 159 4th Street as excess property and authorize the sale.
Mayor, I would move that we declare 159 4th Street as excess property, authorize the mayor to execute a deed of sale, recoup the cost of demolition of the structure on the lot.
Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Arnott to approve the declaration of 159 4th Street as excess property and authorization for the mayor to execute a deed of sale to recoup costs of demolition of the structure on the lot. Seconded by Councilman Scipio. Any further comments or clarifications? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval to purchase a new marquee sign.
Make a motion that we purchase a new marquee sign from 10 Trees, cost not to exceed $18,000 from store sign.
I'll second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve the purchase of a new marquee sign for 10th Street at a cost not to exceed $18,000 from Stewart Signs. Seconded by Councilwoman Aldis. Any further comments, questions, or clarifications? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is approval of agreement with Smartville Limited.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agreement with Smartville LTD Limited to provide monthly building services for our new municipal bills that'll start around the 1st of October.
Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Fleshman to approve an agreement with Smartville Limited to provide monthly billing services for municipal bills. Seconded by Councilman Scipio. Any further clarifications or comments?
How long is this for? Is this for a year or just ongoing until?
I'm sure it's a year.
Yeah, usually they are.
But it would be a renewable contract, if
Okay.
something come along, if somebody provides a service at a lesser fee, then we would have the option at the end of the term of the contract.
Good. Okay.
Mr. Chair, while the clerk's looking that up, the rate for this is per building. So it can go up or down depending on how many residents we have. And the price they quoted our clerk is 52 cents per bill. That includes postage as well and the return envelope, the whole thing. So it's actually far cheaper to outsource that than to have an extra labor in-house at that rate, because your postage is generally about that price. So it is a good rate as well.
It's for a year, because we move it every year. It's automatically moved unless the city says we don't.
Right. Okay.
Did everybody hear that? It's a 1-year contract, and it's automatically renewed unless the city opts to withdraw from the contract at the end of the year. So it is a year-by-year contract. Automatic renewal unless we opt to withdraw from the contract. Further questions? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is officer reports from committees. Actually, Mark is Chief, we'll let you go first.
Evening, Mayor, citizens, council. Just a few things. Reminder, Fall Festival starts Friday. We're going to be closing at 12th Street and Myers Avenue Friday about 3 p.m. We'll reopen Friday night and close back down Saturday morning for the remainder of the day. I brought all the cert acceptance letters over City Hall Day. I seen the party mailed out in March, and should be getting their letter. I think everyone here is applied, everyone got accepted. Look for those in the mail. We're asking you to do RSVP, can't take the class. We're asking you to let us know that so we can get someone else in to get that for you. All right, any questions? Take them there.
Close to the intersection right here.
Yes, sir.
Redirect traffic down 11th Street.
Yeah, I believe everyone here knows how to get around it as far as the citizens. But we want to actually get out there manually redirect them.
It'll actually be barricaded at the alley back here that.
We have some new fences, it's not new, but it's new to us as far as the advance that Public Works and the Rec Center have been working on. Should have actually showed you that there is. Yes, ma'am.
Have you noticed any difference in the calls that you've been receiving on vagrants for activity since the shrubbery and trees have been cut down?
In that specific area, I haven't really reviewed it. I reviewed daily night shift log sheets, but the cost of service, I can't say it's up or down related to that. It looks nice, and it obviously it's obviously a deterrent for the criminal element if they're just there doing what they've been doing. That should take care of a lot of it. It is appreciated, citizens and departments for doing that. Makes it safer for us too.
Okay. Next, Chief Thornhill.
Mayor, good evening, everyone. We've just been doing what we do. We are doing some, if you've been up to the lake, we're up there doing some work. And some of that is just things that just overgrown, ditches filled in, things like that. Some of it is work we have to do to control erosion, to pass our inspection. Appreciate Scott, he's sending the help up there getting it done. There's a bit more to do. Fall Fest will be our focus right now, but we'll get back working at the lake. So you see some nicer things, trees cut back, some new grass plants, things going on up there. That's really all I have, other than last time we were here, I told you all there was a news story that hit the media about a life that was saved, a very young child that was saved. That story hit. And then Friday, the story hit on Channel 3 to recognize those 4 people as hometown heroes. 3 of those are with me tonight. I just want to take a minute to recognize them. They're back here to recognize. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. It makes the job worthwhile. These aren't the only 3 people in the
Bring them up here, Chief, so they can all see.
These are not the only 3 people saving lives, but every once in a while, somebody does a little something special and does something above and beyond. It's important to recognize people when they do that. So, it's what we're here for. It's what makes it worth our effort. These are 3 of your 4 hometown heroes that were recognized.
Come on, you spoke on TV.
Jason, how you're talking.
Yeah, Jason was,
he
was our speech guy. A lot of people may not know exactly what happened. You know, just give a short explanation there, please.
When the call came in, it was dispatched as a 1-month-old cardiac arrest. For those of you who don't know what that is, basically a cardiac arrest means how the heart stops beating, you're not breathing, you're basically unresponsive, you're almost lifeless. So when the call came in, 3 of us plus Deputy Chief Jason Burton responded to the call. We get there to find out that the baby was 10 days old, not a month-old. We jumped in, all hands on deck, we did chest compression, CPR for the baby, got it outside, started ventilating, started moving forward. And then once the ambulance got there, we put the baby in the ambulance and they did their magic. Started IV on him and got transported to the hospital as fast as possible. With the work of us, I like to thank the medical and now the baby is doing good. but I did say, see, he went back to New York today. So we continue to follow him and, keep an eye on him. It's kind of a special guy to us.
Good job.
Thank you.
I'll take anyone's questions.
We're gonna have the smoke alarms this year.
I do have some at the firehouse. You're welcome to come by. I have limited supply there. We do have some. Anybody needing smoke alarms? I won't be getting another round of those, I doubt, before the first year. So coming into the season, our time change will be coming up, and that's when we recommend everybody checks the batteries, change everything out here. Where they moved it, I still don't have it right in my head exactly what Sunday that changed, but I know it's coming for the fall back. We do have some there if anybody needs it. And one quick other thing, if anybody, those who go up to the lake, we have a beautiful new dock out there. And Scott was showing me where somebody decided to start a fire on that thing already. If you're up there, don't start a fire on the dock. And if you see someone doing that, make sure to point out to them they shouldn't be doing that. That's a very beautiful thing up there. So just keep an eye on things. Make sure you remember my rule: if you're burning outside, call the fire department. Let us know what you're doing. Thank you. You did talk.
And call the police if you're burning the dock.
Yes. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, we'll have Scott Elliott next, and you want me to keep him in your prayer. His father's having some medical issues, so.
Thank you, council citizens. Real quick, working on the fall festival stuff. We're gonna be a real long words tonight. Dad's in the hospital in St. Mary's, been there. I've been up over 24 plus hours so far. So everybody's concentrating over here in the pedestrian plaza this week, and we'll get back into everything. Limbs are still being picked up and trash is still being picked up. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, I'll take them.
You can go if you need to. Sanitary Board, Assistant Director Matt Olson.
Council, thank you for approving Mr. Campbell back to our board. We appreciate that. We've had several people off on vacation, so we've had to sweep her out. We have a new guy, not a new hire, but a new guy in the seat. He's learning and getting better every day. And that's pretty much all I've got. Questions at this time? Thank you.
Mr. Leishman, Building Inspector.
Mayor, council, working on property board for next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. If anybody would like to attend, before the property's there. I was in school last week in Flatwood for 2 days, learning about how to inspect fire stops. Basically, we only have one building that's applicable for. Won't be doing a lot of that. We're selling 159 4th Street. That guy's chomping at the bit, and he's wanting to put a new house in right there. So not only are we recouping tax money from the sale, but we'll also be getting property taxes on new structure, which will have to be called. You know, people that are interested in building or buying lots, we have several for sale, and we will have a few more very soon. Waiting on a check from DEP to do the next round of tear down. That's all I got right now. Any questions?
If you could take a look at 151 Taylor, that busted all the windows off all plywood, the windows are busted out again. The one right there beside the Neth House, it's got Neth House written on all over it. You would appreciate it. I was telling Matt, I know we got a drain that's clogged over on the side there that they would take it debris and just bury it all up there. It'd be really, really fun. Maybe the backhoe can have blacks in there or something. I don't know.
Chris is looking for one.
We're getting a house torn down. 149. I hope that means, yeah, well, I know, and, yeah, the recycling signs. I believe it is. I hope that, county talked to me about that the other day, and they sent down to me for the property. Kanawha County's tearing down several houses for us also. And what they'll do is they'll put a lien against the property, and until that lien is paid off, we can't issue building permits or anything for that property. So it's a good program. It saves us several thousands of dollars. Get rid of it. Bad property. That's all.
Hugh. In near Doug, myself, 2105 Fletcher. I stopped by the Greg's helped me as well. We keep checking on it. They've moved the final dumpster, I think, now, but I was told they're trying to decide whether to tear down or redo. Do you know anything?
I haven't talked to the guy. That's what they are doing. There was so much they hoarded in there basically, and it took 2 or 3 20-yard dumpsters to clear it out. So that's what they were trying to get to be able to see the interior of the structure. The roof's caving in, so there's a lot of rock right there.
I hope they tear down, but I didn't know if you heard anything.
I haven't heard anything.
They've left the windows on the ground floor still open, so it's easy access.
Well,
Let's do
might
what's
be a rough sleep or even not. If I find anything, I'll let you know. I haven't liked it.
Thank you.
We had about 205.5 6th Street. It's where the feds took all the properties.
Those are all, one landlord's properties. He failed to pay taxes. The Fed seized them all. They're going to auction them. And I have absolutely no control over them. They are now federal property.
For those of you who don't know about the property board, one of the final phases when people don't comply with the notices that are issued relative to property maintenance and the property is substandard, then we put it on the property board, and the property board has a hearing, and they make a determination as to whether the property is rehabable or not, and they enter into an agreement with the property owner that they're going to rehab it. They got such a certain period of time to rehab the property, or they got so much time to demolish the property. So if you're interested, you're welcome to come to the property board meeting next Wednesday at, what time, 2 o'clock, and witness that process. Okay, next on the agenda is Mr. Jones, recreation.
Just like Scott said, we're over trying to get 12th Street cleaned up. All mulched in there to make it look good for this weekend. It's our biggest event, the fall festival, and it's Friday and Saturday. Please, everybody come out, enjoy yourself, music, food, crafts. I know the seniors downstairs have been working hard on their little crafts, and they're going to be over selling. So hopefully see everybody out. It's our biggest event. We're looking to see people out. Also, before I get into the other things, on the 28th this month, we're still going to talk to Jared about his Eagle Scout project. We're still doing that. They're at the Okay, well, 28th, I know the mayor, Matt Dawson, I met with Jared Fox. He's a senior at South Charleston High, getting ready to do his Eagle Scout project, and we'll be up there in Limestone Park on the 28th. They're doing some clearing of some of the disc golf, some drainage, some new with the tee boxes. So, if anybody wants to come help volunteer, the kids really can't use any gas powered anything. So if anybody wants to come up and help, I'm gonna bring my weeder up and see what we can do. That's probably gonna start more about 7 in the morning, 7:30. Don't forget, you can still call down there for the citywide yard sale. It's on October 5th. Kim downstairs with the seniors is taking calls for people who wants to set up, I think it's along the tracks. And then we're taking any calls for anybody who wants to set down the rec center. It starts whenever you want to. We don't get nothing out of it. We're just trying to help people sell their stuff and just bring people into town. They can have their own lemonade stand if they want to. They call the council. But it's on you. The only thing we do is try to help people promote and show where the houses are that's selling. That's October 5th. Boom Bash is October 29th. That's one of our biggest kids events. We're doing some little things different with the parking. We'll try to have people park down the Shawnee, and we'll have people. I don't know if we can see your service, but we be using their vans to try to get kids and families up there to be a little safer. There's no sidewalk on Route 25 coming eastbound. Other than that, like I said, we're trying to get everything ready for this weekend.
You forgot about wine cellar race.
There is a race.
What day, what time?
Wine cellar race starts at 8 o'clock on Saturday. We are doing a 10K and a 5K. We've had about 6 or 7 people sign up for the 5K this year. It's something new. And if you want to sign up, you can sign up online at tristateracer.com. You can don't mail in, no entries right now. Or you can sign up the night of the dinner, which is this Friday from 6 to 8, or at the starting line between 7:10 and 7:50. We will take last minute entries, and that should only last. 10K should last about an hour and a half. 5K should be over probably about 9. I'd say it's only 3.1.
It takes them about an hour.
I'm not running or walking. And also, I don't know if anybody's seen 10th Street at the eastbound entrance and exit has been cleared out with trees. All that's out to make it a little easier for everybody to see to go through.
Just during the conference, you and just realizing not getting it done. It's so nice to come off interstate, you don't see them.
No cigarette butts either.
I know, yay!
Very, very nice.
And,
It's your white yellow team animals.
our park shop,
Haven't seen it, that by the way.
our park shop looks pretty good now too.
And we gotta get back on the cutting. We're trying to get all this done so they can get back cutting there. Yeah, but we're, the guys still doing clean up every morning, and we go out there.
They were down there when I was walking this morning, getting the weekend traction.
Yeah, we had a pretty big griddle down there over the weekend, and probably ice cream all over the place.
Well, one more.
One other event, doesn't know the final date on it, the chief doesn't know the final date on it. The Ronald McDonald House Run has decided that November the 2nd will be the day of the Ronald McDonald Run that comes through Dunbar. And they're very interested in partnering with doing it with the wine cellar, make it a 5K Ronald McDonald Run with the wine cellar race next year, which should be an enhancement to our run. So, put those two things together.
And you're gonna be on TV, right? On Wednesday.
Is that with the big shoes on and the funny?
Yeah, I'll talk about your interview on Wednesday.
Thank you. Okay, with that, public comments? Okay. Council, start with Steve.
Steve,
Thank you.
I've been called worse. So don't
This one I'm looking at it, actually, I'm talking
Yeah,
to
the fall festival this weekend, Friday and Saturday, the seniors have worked their little fingers off doing stuff, and it's gorgeous stuff. It really is. We have a really talented bunch of seniors there. So come out, at least come out and see what they've got to offer. And if you're interested and you're eligible to be a senior, come on and join us. We have fun down there.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the department heads for all the wonderful jobs, all your guys, crews, everybody's doing a great job around the city. It really does look real nice. I think there's definitely improvement around here. We're getting ready to do some paving to Christmas time. We're hoping by Thanksgiving things will look really sharp. Also, I'd like to remind everybody about the Safe Community Neighborhood Watch hot dog and hamburger sale next Saturday over at Kroger's from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. $5 meal. Like, remember, support them, would very much appreciated. That's the 28th. Hey, you guys up first. And we'll talk.
I just wanted to explain, last week I had to leave because my husband was in the hospital. He is doing much better. He had a mini stroke, but we have no major lasting effects. So I just want to apologize, I had to leave, but that's why I had to leave. And I just want to thank Scott and whoever took care of that whole intersection right there. It really looks good. And there's no cigarette butts, and I don't know how we can encourage it. I was thinking about making a sign, putting it up, but they probably won't read it. But I was going to put a sign up that says, "This is not an ashtray." Because he just did it like maybe 4 months ago. And they have to literally take a snow shovel and shovel up the cigarette butts right there at the exit. Right there at the entrance or the exit of the interstate. I know it's OCD in me, but it just looks so much better when it's not all over the ground like that. Now, we have a lot of people that come through that area. You know, whether they're going to St. Albans, whether they're going to Cross Lanes, whether they're going to the sports complex, it just does not look nice. So I just deeply want to appreciate, I saw Bob over there. He had a, what did you have, a chainsaw?
Chainsaw.
He's over there like the Freddy Krueger or something with that chainsaw.
They let me take it.
Huh?
They let me touch it. They let me hold it.
Did you want it out of you?
No, I had to use the weed eater.
You had something. I couldn't look, but you had something. You was working hard. I do appreciate everything everybody does. Because like I say, sometimes it's the small, it's not always the big things that make your city look better. A lot of times it's the small things that make the city look better. But I want to thank everyone.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out, and again, thank all our department heads for the great job they did. Really appreciate it.
Maybe decide to say no butts allowed.
I thought of it. I'm trying to not do this, Steve. Don't encourage me.
That's a nice way to put it.
Nothing to see, Mayor.
Mayor, I'm sure will elaborate more about tomorrow night. We encourage you to come out to that meeting. And just he and I met, and I've met with the fire chief and with some of the police chiefs representatives. He was in training last week, and city judge and many others, trying to put together, brainstorming a strategic way we can tackle this problem. We can't arrest our way out of it, and there's many other things we can't do, but we can't come up with a plan. So we're trying to work through that, and simplest way to look at it is, not to bring you into it, but it was simple. The chief said, how do you explain why there's not the vagrant backpack problem in Southridge, but there is in South Charleston, the city, and in Nitro, Dunbar, you can go down the list. And so with that mindset, you look at what it is that this situation entails, what do they need to live that lifestyle, to live a vagrant lifestyle. And you come up with a list of what they need, explanation of what those things are, because many people in our town don't even think about it, because it's so different than our lifestyle. We think of a bathroom as somewhere you use, not that you shoot up in and be in. So you make a list of what they need to live in that lifestyle, what that means, and then we try to come up with a list of how we as a city and businesses and citizens and churches, because they all have to work together, can dry up the sources. Because if you dry up the sources, that's what, it's not that there's any difference in codes in Southridge than in downtown South Charleston. It's the same city. It's the same codes. It's the same police force. But the things you need to live the lifestyle that they're wanting is available in South Charleston, not in Southridge. So we have to figure out what those things are and find a way to, yes, encourage recovery. That's a huge component of it, but also just to drive the sources that, I don't mean this literally, although there is a component of that, but in a sense, figuratively feeds this problem. So again, I thank the mayor, chiefs, city judge, and then I bounce this off many other people as well that live here. And I've spent 20-some years dealing with families with addictions, and I've been through the crack phase, the oxy phase, the heroin phase as a minister and working with families. So I've brought that as well. We're trying to come up with some kind of plan, but you have to keep in mind, the Constitution is not a fix-all. It's where we have to work together, businesses, the city can't tell business what to do other than pay their taxes. But we can say to the business, can you do this? Because so there's things that businesses are doing that are actually feeding the problem. There's things we're doing as a city we can do to solve the problem. There's things that you as citizens can do. Work on that. There'll be more tomorrow night.
I added that a little bit. This school I was in was represented by people from all over the state. It's all the building officials statewide. And that was one of the first discussions we had. How is everybody dealing with the homeless problem? And everybody had the exact same problem. We board up a building, they're in it before we put the hammer up. You know, run them out, you can't do anything, you can't arrest them, they won't prosecute them. So it's not just us. I mean, I talk to people from Moundsville and Wheeling, Greenbrier County, and it is literally everywhere you go, in every little big city, little city, town, whatever. So, and I told them about what we're doing, and they were all wanting information as to how it turns out, so they might propose it to their council to do the same thing with their delegates. And if we can get everybody in the state on board with this, maybe we can do something. Hopefully this will be the first step to a cure. But please don't think we're alone, because I can assure you we're not.
Just get up any morning at 6:30 and drive the Canal Valley, and you'll see it everywhere, because that's when things are moving and shaking between 6:30 and 8.
I would just like to echo Jim Hughes and Greg Wolf's sentiments and thanking everyone for coming out and thanking all the departments.
Okay, tomorrow evening, the delegates have committed to be here. We have a kind of a tentative format. Want to kind of limit the questions relative to what's going on as to what does the law say, and not so much about somebody was sleeping on my front porch, or they stole my weed eater, and then and all that. I mean, that's not going to be productive for our delegates to have to sit through that. But they can, and they have committed to me that they want to see us come up with some issues that they can take back to the legal staff of the legislature and try to work through some changes. The basic three things that I looked at are everybody's concerned about loitering. Loitering, according to our city code, only applies to someone who's a sex offender, and they cannot loiter in an area within 1,000 feet of somebody that they've perpetrated a crime against, or depending on the nature of the sex crime, a school or a church or a daycare center. That's all our code for sex offenders. The second thing is trespass, and there's different phases of trespass, and from what I have gleaned from sitting up here month after month in the court hearings, is that it's just someone seeking an abandoned structure to sleep in. That's just a simple trespass, as opposed to if they break in to steal the copper and wiring and plumbing and so forth, then they're breaking in for the purpose of committing a crime, and then that becomes a separate level. And then if you find drugs on them or something like that, that takes it into breaking in doesn't become a crime, and sleeping there isn't a crime, but the needles and drug possession is a crime. The other thing, so those are kind of the areas that our prosecutor is going to describe. She deals with it as our prosecutor in these cases, and what her limitations are as a prosecutor in dealing with it, and then come up with a logical presentation to our legislators of what we want to see change. The most important thing you got to realize is that when we start talking about loitering, after a certain period of time of moving through the alleys, that's going to apply to you too. You can't make it selective onto a particular group or class of people. If you pass a loitering ordinance or something of that nature, then that means you lose your freedom too, because you can't be selective about who you enforce these laws to. So those are the things that we need to come up with logical approaches to give to the legislators and move forward. And the other thing that I've targeted on, and I've shared it to the council members, that there's a ton of money coming down the pipe for these opioid lawsuits. That money should not go to fire departments, it should not go to police departments, it shouldn't go to municipalities. What it needs to go to is mandatory rehabilitation clinics for these people that's been victimized by the opioids. They're the victims along with us. I mean, they're strung out on this stuff. And that problem's not going to go away unless we can turn their life around. I mean, as Councilman Hudson said, we're not going to put these people in jail and solve our problem. And if we can push for a mandatory 12-month treatment cycle as a minimum, paid for out of the opioid money, then these people cannot come out. They got to stay in the program. And if they come out, it'll be court ordered. It's not a voluntary thing, it's a court ordered thing. And that gives them a chance to get cleaned up. And if they need another 12 months of treatment, then give them another 12 months of treatment. But unless we can save these people from the problem, it's never going to go away from us. I mean, we have got to find a solution to help them solve the problem. I mean, that's my take on it. I mean, everybody may have different opinions, and we welcome all the opinions of everybody out there as to what the solution is. But you know, anyway, that's my sales pitch, and so we'll try to go through the presentation in a way that explains what the law is, what the limitations are. We'll make some comments, and then you all can, whoever's there, will be able to ask questions. I would say dress with very lightly because it's not air conditioned down there. There will be some fans, so you know, we'll have a water station going, passing out water. So we encourage you to come and participate, and hopefully we can, you know, get our legislators working in a direction that can help solve this problem that's plaguing everybody. Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, for the good of the order, if there is no other city business, I move that we adjourn this meeting. Second.
Meeting adjourned.